Everyone has a bright light inside of them that deserves to be seen by the world. That's why it's time to shine the light on the extraordinary, who are accomplishing phenomenal things. This is the Shine Out Loud Show with Lillian Abogo and Tay Kofi.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Shine Out Loud Show with me, Lillian Abogo, and the incredible man with the voice, Tay Kofi.
My pleasure.
How you doing?
Good to see you, love.
Good. And I'm excited because we have another sandwich this evening. If you guys remember the show we had with Carol Pike, we had a Carol sandwich. Today, we have a Sadia sandwich. Oh, I'm looking forward to it. This woman is the woman behind Beingu, a brand new lingerie line that basically is changing the world one shade at a time. Hey, Sadia.
Hi. I'm happy to be sandwiched.
That's not a phrase you thought you'd be saying today.
No. Never thought it. Never. It was like, but I am very happy being sandwiched.
Completely organic. No extra ingredients, right?
Exactly. Just all the love.
No mayo.
Oh, I am so glad to get you here tonight. So we are going to be talking about your line, your work, who you are, and then I'm just going to geek out because this is an area that it's unfortunately not your strong suit.
I don't know.
It will be.
It will be by the time we're done.
Until we're done with them.
By the time we're done.
But I've got to tell you this is completely counterintuitive because men are far more interested in lingerie.
They are.
But they just don't talk about it.
But aren't you guys?
I'm fortunate to have a few lingerie clients.
They just don't know how to talk about it.
Well, this is it. I've got to tell you, it feels weird. I'm frankly telling you, from a man's point of view, it feels a bit weird. It feels, frankly, a little bit strange. But by the end of this evening, perhaps the audience out there will find a language, a tone of voice, the way in which they can talk about lingerie in a comfortable way.
In all this, when we're talking, please remind me. I have to tell you, my late husband. You have to hear the story of how he described my size in a lingerie store years ago.
Okay, you know what? We want to hear.
I've got a story like that too. Thank God you gave me permission. We'll lead into that. Okay.
Definitely want to hear this. So, you know what? Let's start this. Your brand is called Beingu.
Yes.
And it launched on the
6th of
February.
Yes.
At the Savoy.
In the Savoy. 7 years after starting the concept.
7 years.
7 years. Yes.
No, Auntie, you know what? I think you're way ahead of the curve. You know, they say it takes 10 years to be an overnight success.
Oh, do they?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
My answer is
So I'm hoping. No, it's taken me 7 years. And when I started the concept 7 years ago, there was no one else around. And today there are more. But about 18 months into starting the concept of winning awards for the concept, for the business, my mother had a stroke.
Right.
And then I became her main carer.
Oh.
And then I decided that, okay, with all this going on, I can't continue.
Right.
And I decided 2.5 years ago now, October the 22nd is a date for Beingu because I had made plans. 2014, October 22nd, 2014. I was going to start again. I wanted to meet production and everything. But October 21st, 2013, my husband went to work. Then he died. He died. He went to the gym.
He was perfectly healthy.
Perfectly healthy.
No indications.
No indication, nothing.
Where was this? Was this in
the UK? Yeah. He went to work at 8 o'clock, the 21st. The bell went. He was on Tuesdays. He goes to the gym with his friends, and they play basketball. And they have teams, and I had to open the door to the police.
Oh no!
To tell me that my husband was dead.
That must have been a very surreal conversation for you.
What time of day? What time of day was that?
8 o'clock in the evening on the 21st of October. And I don't talk much about this, so actually the two of you, the first time I actually really talked about this because I avoid it. People know my husband died and it's caused a problem with Beingu, but it was 8 o'clock ish, and I just come from a phone call from someone to do with Beingu because I was so excited that okay, now I feel that I'm not completely with the main care of my mom. We can afford to pay carers and all that. So I was feeling quite enthused up. And I was talking to someone in the US about moving forward with the brand. And that call, up till now, we talk about that call because she had never talked, we'd never met each other. We were introduced on email. And then I went to the kitchen and started making dinner. My daughter had just gone into university. She was 5 weeks into university. So it was the first time we were on our own.
Yeah, right.
And I was cooking dinner, and my cousin, who is American, but he was over in the UK doing, studying at Oxford, but he'd finished his MBA, and he was with me. Luckily, that evening he was there. He'd finished.
Right.
And the bell rang. I'm like,
there's no imagining how shocking. There's absolutely no imagining how shocking that
you see
must
the
be.
police, and I'm like, they said, can we come in? I said, no, you can't come in. But they had taken they'd taken my husband's middle name.
Right. As his first name.
As his first name. And I so did not allow the police into the house. So they told me at the door, we're here to tell you that his middle name is dead. I'm like, really? What? No, so you're at the wrong house. What? No. And eventually my cousin let them in. And that was
So that must have taken.
That 22nd, that appointment of the 22nd of October
It
didn't happen.
Right.
Fair enough.
I'm sorry.
No.
I'm sorry.
Please,
that appointment didn't happen. And that night, I think there was a point where, I don't know, I had to be pulled from the policewoman's feet or something. I found myself lying on the floor, holding her feet.
Oh, wow.
Completely sorry.
And people would tell me what happened that night. I don't remember. But Beingu, let's go back to Beingu, and it didn't happen then. But it's happened now.
Okay.
And we were in Savoy launching
On the 6th of February.
on the 6th of February,
2017.
2017.
Now,
Okay,
you know
that's
what?
fantastic.
Yeah.
That's just a week before Valentine's, isn't it?
Yes, it is a week before Valentine's.
And obviously strategically placed at that time.
Well, strategically placed, not because of Valentine's, but because it's Black History Month in the US.
Yeah.
And I am so, Beingu is so important to me because it was born out of my daughter,
Right.
a dark-skinned black child. And so Black History Month in February in the US, Black History Month in October in the UK, they're big things to us. So it was planned for that.
Okay, so can we say how old your daughter is, Annie?
Yes.
How old is your daughter?
She's 21.
Okay. People, you can't see this woman. So either she stole this child, she borrowed a child. I don't know where she kept a 21-year-old or where she got a 21-year-old from. But seriously, woman, if you see what I'm seeing, you won't believe she's the mother of a 21-year-old. So first and foremost, that's the first thing I'm going to start with.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
I was 26 when I had her. And I want us to be happy. I want us to be. But I had a stroke when I had her at 26. I lost my sight. I went blind.
Okay. You know what? I think we've both been thrown into silence because one person, you. I think I know what I think I know what our so loud moment is for today, Tate. Tate, do you agree with me?
Well,
we know what our so loud moment
I
is
think
for
I know.
today. Okay,
Yeah.
so let's take a moment.
I don't want it to be unhappy.
No,
It's not unhappy. I mean, it's just stunning.
This is not unhappy. This is absolutely. Um, sometimes we come up with reasons why we can't do stuff, and I know we're deviating severely here. We come up with all the reasons why we can't do X, Y, and Z, and you've actually just blown all of that out of the water. And with every setback, with every tragedy that you've ever experienced, you've created something that speaks not just for your daughter, but speaks for all women of color, not just black women, but all women of color. So from one woman to another, oh my God, you are amazing.
Thank you.
Oh my God, you're amazing. So let's go back into the questions because we had some questions for you.
Yes.
And we now know your background. We now know a little bit about you.
I mean, what comes to mind immediately is that what you're talking about is bizarre, and it really is extraordinary, and it's enough to knock most people over. Where did you get the strength from to come back from what are effectively knockout blows?
I don't know. When I've been asked this so many times, and we start off from being 26 and being 26 and having a stroke and losing my sight. But then I go way back into that. I go back into growing up in Sierra Leone. I go back into losing my dad when I was 8. I go back to watching my mother bring up 3 kids. And I sometimes struggle to find where it comes from. But you know what? It was about waking up every morning and doing the best I could do. Because there's not a job that I haven't done. I trained as a cancer nurse. I trained as a nurse. Even when I was in my training, I joined an agency that provided babysitting services as well as cleaning services. So I've cleaned people's houses. But you know what? I was the best cleaner they had. Whatever I have done, I am the best at it. That's it. It's not about the best job. It's being the best at the job you're doing.
I mean, this is important, and the reason I asked that question is that certainly for people of colour, there are so many things ranged against them.
Oh yes.
That I was about to say ordinary people, but certainly non-people of colour don't encounter. And so it's always good to know how somebody finds the strength to get up and be the best of what they're doing on that day, even though all the cards are completely stacked up against you.
I am very fixed, and even my daughter, even bringing my daughter up, I was very fixed at understanding that what you were doing at that time was better for you than thinking about what you were not doing.
Right.
And I feel as a Black woman, as a woman of color, that sometimes our role models are not the right things for us. They're not the right things.
Explain that.
And the way I explain that is we're not all Barack. We're not all Beyonce. We can't all sing. But wake up and look at your cousins and your aunts and your mothers and your dads who are getting up. They get up every morning and they can make sure they can pay the bills. Those are our role models.
Absolutely.
As Black people. Yeah. But sometimes we as a Black group, we don't sell that enough.
No, I mean, we sell that we have to be doing stuff. And, and I think sometimes it comes from the trip back home where my dad's favorite one, oh yeah, that kid in class that came first. Do they have 2 heads? I learned very quickly as a child, never answer that question because it was a trap.
Yes.
it was a trap. You know, that kind of comparison analysis where we were always being compared instead of being celebrated for, you know, what makes us unique at that point. And I think, Kate, as a parent.
It's very important because actually my biggest role model were my parents. I don't magically think what I think now, believe what I believe now, have the attitudes I have now. They were taught to me. I didn't even know they were being taught to me. I saw them being acted out. And as you grow up, it's extraordinary how much you mirror the attitudes, beliefs, and behaviours that you see kind of in your childhood. So I think this is a very important point you're making, that especially when black families are breaking down, where many of the families are led by a single parent, mostly women. Occasionally, sometimes men, but mostly women. People need to understand that actually the greatest role models are to be found within their familial set.
Years ago, I joined this website. I can't say who it was because she wrote back to me. She's got like a whole women empowerment group, and I joined her, and I wrote back, and to be able to join it, you had to write what you believed in. And I wrote back and said, I look to women in my community, my local community, for inspiration. And she actually wrote back to me. She's a radio presenter.
Right.
I was on her show a few years back, 6 years ago. I don't want to name names, but she wrote back because that stood out to her. And my daughter, by the way, we did an interview last week, which hasn't come out yet.
Right.
And I said in the interview together, obviously my brand is about my daughter and everything. And I said, I'm lucky to have her. She waited for me to finish speaking. And she put her hand on my knee and my hands, and she said, no, you're not lucky in the way I've turned out. You've always said this, Mommy, that you knew the adult you wanted to bring up. And the black woman you wanted to bring up.
That's powerful.
Well, if you look at, I mean, certainly in the Black American experience, I mean, the privations that community has been through, the idea, despite the racial stereotypes that are put about, I've actually never seen harder working people than people of colour.
Exactly.
It is the one thing that in most households, absolutely no parent is going to tolerate is indolence. So people are used to be working. But I guess taking things forward, we now have to work smarter. And if I may move this on now into how you base your brand on the needs of your daughter, how you went from being a cancer nurse into a creator that's doing something which is so very different.
I got tired of complaining that it wasn't there for us. I got tired of it.
Start from the bottom.
I was watching her. She was getting dressed.
Yes.
Literally. You want to know the scenario? She was getting dressed, and I could see her black bra under her top. And I'm like, and I'm thinking, actually, her underwear drawer is becoming like mine. 90% of my underwear is black. I don't care when it's something of Valentine's or something. You get something really nice. Or you buy yourself really nice, something really colourful. At the end of the day, what do you wear?
Well, I wear the black for work, but half the time I go for my colors.
So where are you most of your time? Work. She's just said it. She wears the black for work.
Yes.
So most of the bras and underwear wear.
70%
Yes, exactly. Yes, I was 90% into. This is your color, by the way. This is yours.
They've forgotten there's
this
a man.
Is not mine.
They've forgotten there's a man sitting here with them.
This is you.
I do like
I can't believe what's going on.
Look at that.
Oh my God, that's absolutely gorgeous. You guys have not seen this. You're not seeing this. Tate, turn away. You have to understand.
I thought I knew a lot about this stuff. I'm learning.
My color.
Exactly. This is not your no.
This is not mine.
Okay, so let's.
This has been you 2012, and my color's been you too. But
okay, so
anyway,
let's round this back.
Let's go back to where we started. Sorry. We just forgot where you from. I'm sorry.
My eyes are kind of the sources.
I'm sorry.
No. It's all a training. It's a training experience. Right. Thank you.
But I just saw her at 14, and I just thought it was as simple to me, as simple as she cannot go through life
Like this?
Yeah.
like this, like I did. It was as simple as that. She cannot be ignored.
Okay. All right.
And that was it.
So what are the key things that are wrong with the lingerie that's out there for women like you? Okay. Is it a question of cut, shape, style,
Color, shape,
and shade.
color, shape, and size.
Yeah.
So but we have this beautiful buttercup pants.
Right.
They cut the 3 pieces, never ever done before, and they shape the bottom, and we tested them, and they
These things are on your website, aren't they?
Yeah, women.
You're not, yeah, I know you're not going to show me that.
I'm not showing you that. I'm not.
I held my breath for a moment.
No, we're not going around like calling things out. Our buttercup, you will love our buttercup.
Oh,
We've got the buttercup.
Let's talk about the
size.
buttercup off air. We'll talk about the buttercup off air.
So, but what is important to me is when I started 7 years ago, there was nothing like this in terms of skin tone.
Mm-hmm.
There are other brands now
Of course.
doing skin tone, fine. But at the moment, we have the shapes. We have 3 different shapes, and we go to the biggest sizes that anyone can go to.
Okay.
We've got to 44 back, and an H cup.
Oh my God.
Yes.
That is incredible. Okay, you know what? Let's for the men who are listening, for the men in the room,
men.
let me talk to Tate. Let me explain why this, for me as a woman, for me sitting here on this side of the mic, this is important. Because now there's a thing about especially how Black women are seen in the workplace. Let's even use the workplace in the 9 to 5, how we dress, how we show up. And then you are supposed to be expected to look a certain way. Do you remember the scene from Hidden Figures with you need to have a strand of pearl necklace?
Okay.
Imagine that when saying if you're wearing a white blouse, you need to be wearing, if you're supposed to be a woman of substance or a particular type of woman, you wear nude color under a white blouse. You don't wear black because it's cheap, it's tacky, and people will look and stare. Now, for women of color, we didn't have that. In fact, to be quite fair, this is not just about women of color, this is about women. Because what we had then, between then and now, is this weird pinky salmon color that made you pull a face like,
I remember it.
Who exactly is this color and why? Because even Caucasian
a bit
women,
like sticking plasters.
Yeah, even Caucasian women were not that color, but this was all we had. And so you had to either get in or, get the black.
Yeah.
And so what Seda has done, and this is why I call it a movement, it's exactly dressing for women of all shades. And actually the fact that you embrace Black women of all shades or brown women of all shades is amazing.
Yeah, well, this is extraordinary, isn't it? This story isn't told in other media.
No.
I consider myself a man of considerable experience. I have a daughter who's in the same age range as yours. I've been married. I have adult sisters. I have a mother, and nobody ever talked about the dress troubles and of people of colour. And it certainly won't be talked about within the mainstream media. I think this goes to kind of a much wider agenda about people talking their truth.
Exactly. This narrative.
Talking your truth.
Yes.
So, my biggest thing, what drives me out of bed?
What?
Tell me.
My absolute best friend as a child.
What's it?
Know your truth. Know your truth is what makes me get up of every morning. Because I know my truth.
And what is your truth?
My truth is I promised for the business, I promised my daughter, but even I didn't just not promise my daughter. We won awards even before. We won awards for Business of the Year. We won awards for Startup of the Year. I was labeled as a businesswoman to look forward to. And then tragedy struck me. So it wasn't just my daughter I had promised. So my truth was I was going to make this brand for these women who were expecting it.
Yes.
If it was the last thing you did.
It is the last. My truth is I love who I am because I was 8 years old when I was told I looked pretty for a dark-skinned black girl.
What do you mean?
And the whole of my life,
Yes.
I think I've been trying to prove that, oh, that dark-skinned black girl is good enough.
Okay, that's very powerful. I mean, first and foremost, you are not a dark-skinned black girl that is good enough. You're just a dark woman
I know.
who is amazing.
Yes, but it's
taken a while to stay home.
it takes a while, and you don't real. I didn't even realize until probably a few years ago that was driving me.
Wow.
That comment that was made to me. You are pretty for a dark-skinned black.
Well, I mean, if I may finally cut in here, I think part of what Lillian and I are trying to do on the Shine Out Loud show is to provide a platform on which people can speak their truth, and because the truth sets you free, and in your case, the truth has motivated you and driven you, and certainly in the world in which we're living right now, actually things are reverting to very, very narrow stereotypes, narrow points of conversation, and so on. And I think it's never been more necessary for people to establish and express their truth.
Okay, so everything that's going on in the UK and the US particularly, politically, I think is not great, but we have to then take that on board. It's so ripe.
It's a great opportunity.
It's a ripe opportunity.
There's a huge silver lining in it.
There's a huge, I feel it's so ripe for.
Now is the time.
Exactly.
Now is the time.
Yes.
Now is the time for us to step
no
up.
one is now going to tell me
Someone's
that I've
coming
got
to
a chip on my
rescue.
shoulder.
Yeah.
No one's going to tell me this feeling I've had all my life. When I talk and you get, oh no, it's not that. That's not the case. Everyone loves each other. I'm like, no, we don't.
Well, now it's obvious.
It's obvious.
And the President of the United States is making it clear.
Yes.
And a lot of people, not everyone, but a lot of people who were after this post-referendum thing are making it quite clear what they like, what they don't like,
No,
who they engage with and who they don't engage with.
But my daughter and I have had the most, in London, the most stories we can tell that we've ever had to tell after Brexit.
Really?
Yes.
But you know what? I think something you said about speaking your truth. And I think the reason why politically we are in the place that we're in is because for a very long time, under the aid of multiculturalism or whatever it was, any ism, people were not expressing their truth. And so it started going underground. And you know, they say if you don't shine the light on something, sometimes it festers and goes bad.
You're right.
And what we are experiencing globally is the pus letting finally out of the bag.
We
didn't express our truths because we were scared to express our truths. We were scared. We wanted to be in. We wanted to be in with the crowd. We wanted to be accepted. We wanted to be, the dinner parties. We wanted to be the black,
the accepted
could
black.
say something to, and it wasn't just right in your head, and you would just think about it when you went home.
Yes.
And I have never.
It's so important because what you're saying, I've had this conversation now 100 times because everybody else is starting to think like that. So something has definitely
something is changing, and I get this. I get the emails from my PR, and she's like, "Do you want to do this?" Like someone, people have written. I'm like, "What do you mean? Do I want to do this?" And yeah, not because it's not. I love my brand. It's about my brand. It's about lingerie, but we're quite fragmented as a black community, and I don't. I'm saying it here today that I don't care how much money my brand makes. I will be always talking to any black owned brand.
Talking about actually, there were 2 points there. I've seen a number of posts on my Facebook feed, and I started researching it about how much money is recycled in each community.
It's black,
And
nothing.
it turns out that
It's point
I think that
1%, less than 1%. It's less than 1% in the black community. We don't recycle it.
That's right. Well, I think what it did was that it says that every dollar in America is recycled twice in the black community. But the dollars in the Jewish community, for example, are recycled 75 times.
And the Chinese community is 6 times over.
And the Indian community.
I'm trying to. This is what I was trying to show you something. And I'm trying to get something today that came out. And Becky, it's a shout out to Becky. And Becky, who wore a bra today or yesterday?
Who bought
Becky
a bra?
She's a blogger.
Okay.
She wore it. And this is Becky.
This is one of your.
No. This is one of my bras, but this is Becky.
Okay.
To show us how inclusive we are. But Becky has made more of a noise about us and being you.
But what's the point? I mean,
My point.
Hold on.
Okay.
Let me explain.
Exactly.
Because I need to, so yeah, definitely shout out to Becky because Becky is a Caucasian woman, and I know the point you're making. We sit down and we pay lip service to each other.
Right.
When in our communities, when we own businesses, half the time we're paying lip service to. Yes, we'll support you. I mean, I don't know if you've seen this Instagram post that people are so quick to, shout out and support the Beyoncés of this world like they know them.
Right.
But your friend has a business, crickets.
Yeah.
Your friend has a business. Oh, so can you do this for me for free? I don't want to do stuff for my friend. I want my friends to support me. I recently had a conversation with a PR person that we both know and love. And I said to her, I am not looking for friends and family, Ray, because we need to stop doing that foolishness. We support. You know what? We are so quick to run out, buy the Louboutins, buy the Mac, buy the this.
That's not made by us.
Buy the that. We want the Crocs. We want the this. We want the shoes. We want the sandals. We want to spend outside with other people. Now, I know some people who live and die by their red bottom shoes, but they know friends who have their own businesses, and it's like, I'll post, or let me like it on Instagram. Please don't like it on Instagram. Support me. Is that where we were going?
That's where we're going. That's where we're going.
Yeah,
so this is the biggest support I'm getting.
Well done, Becky.
Well done, Becky.
Yeah, well done, Becky.
What's Becky's blog?
I was sending you Becky's blog. Let's go into Becky's blog. It's Instagram.
So
Becky and the Jets. Becky and the Jets.
So I mean, if she's supporting, what's your excuse? You know who I'm talking to. I'm talking to you, who is not supporting, but are looking for freeness out of your friends. What's your excuse? Anyway, let's come back.
As we're on the business side, what are the price points of your lingerie?
It's quite simple, really. $39.99. We've got 3 styles of bras. 2 of them are $39.99, and the fashion one is $49.99.
Okay.
That's it. And
what about the underwear?
The underwear is $14.99.
Okay.
And
you sell them as separates and as
separates.
Okay.
Because when you buy your bra, you might need 2 pants.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, you need 2 pants to go with it.
Okay. Now, in terms of availability, how do people actually?
We online www. How many W's have I said?
3.
Beingu.me.
Okay.
And
that's
online.
Being letter U.
BING letter U.
Yeah.
.me.
.me.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you come onto our website and you buy.
How long does it take to deliver?
Free delivery UK and the US in a few days.
Free to the US as well?
Yes.
That's super.
Okay, I know some friends in the US that we need to contact.
Free delivery in the US because we have what we have is we ship from the UK and the US.
Okay.
So we don't ship from the UK to the US.
And what's the size range again?
From a 28 back to a 44 back.
That's incredible.
And a B cup to a 44 cup.
44. Or a H cup as well.
Sorry, from a B cup to an H cup. Sorry.
Okay. So
That is substantial.
28 back to 44 back, B cup to an H cup.
so that's
And
basically
what about
taking everybody in.
absolutely? What about the underwear?
The underwear, small, extra small to extra large.
Okay.
So with 22. So from a size 6 in the US to 22.
Okay. Let's talk about this. You know, the lingerie industry is very specific.
It is.
So, as a woman of color, did you find that you were taken less seriously when you entered this world?
I was taking some root. So I mean, when we went to stands and stuff, I was described as the woman with the black stand, the black woman.
Understand?
The stand. I don't know.
Right.
76, 70s. I was described as the black woman.
Yeah.
So black women owners, yeah, we've come a long way because there's 2 or 3 more now.
Where'd you get your design ideas from?
I have the most beautiful person in my life, Bok Goodall. Now, Bok Goodall is the creative person who can look at a design, tell me what I can do, we can do. She doesn't like to call herself a designer. And again, I'm really sorry. We go back to color and race because everyone who meets Bok, everyone who meets Bok is shocked.
So where's
Why?
from?
Bok is the palest. So that color, the color you saw on Becky was based on Bok's color.
Oh wow, where is Buck from?
The UK. Originally from Streatham, and then Bok is the biggest believer of our brand. When everything was going, everyone was saying, "Okay, Sadia is not doing this business." Bok never left me. She did freelance work with other companies. She never ever left my side because she completely believed in our brand. She believed in what we were doing. And she is the palest person you can find, which is what being
Some people are pale.
2021.
Okay, so tell me. I mean, from your insight into this business, are you finding any trends that are coming up in lingerie for people of color? I mean, if I was to ask you, looking at
I don't want it to be a trend.
Yes.
So you've asked the right question because my biggest problem with lingerie that we've had in the past, as Black women, women of color, women as a whole, in terms of our shape, something is just a trend.
Yes.
And then you can't find it for 2 or 3, 4, 5 years. So I'm not looking to trends.
So you mean
I'm looking to.
You mean there's a fashion for dealing with people of color, and then it evaporates?
It's a brown bra somewhere, Calvin Klein or something, or someone does something. I don't know. You can take that out, but.
And it's cool for a short period, and then boom,
it's gone. Okay. So we don't want that. We don't want trends. We want color. We want shape. We want size.
Okay. I mean, so far, I'm going on the marketing side of this thing because it's something in which I have an interest. My company, Journalink, is a PR firm. And after this, we would love to have a chat with you about how we can help with the promotion of Beingu.
Because it's when she says she loves it, don't underestimate how it's.
Oh no, she's talking from a need. She's not making it up. She didn't read out of her.
When there's millions of women.
Like that.
And the emails I get, the emails we're getting, sometimes it's just thank you. That's all they write.
And that's all you need. And sometimes that's all
you've made us visible. And you said something about being seen.
Exactly, because when you wear, the fact of the matter is, underwear shopping, sometimes I describe that before I found 2 places where I can shop is I will liken it to going to war. It's psychologically torturing. And when you now find something that fits and makes you feel comfortable under, and you put clothes under, and you feel confident about yourself, that is something so amazingly powerful. So as a woman, I'm really in awe of that. Now, before we go back into your question, Tate, what I was going to ask now, are you self-funded or do you have a village behind you?
No, I don't
supporting?
have anyone behind me. I'm just broke. I just literally.
You know what? Look, no, before we get into the finances, because that's a big chunk of this conversation, I want to know about other associations you may have, and with this, it's still kind of going back to marketing PR talk, because I think it's quite important that brands like yours are actually placed on television, in other media. It needs to, so that you appear in the credits of whatever it is.
No,
you know, the current soaps and so on, because this is how the brand moves from being kind of a bit of quiche culture, you know, and a niche item to something which really.
Oh no, we've in terms of like some of our stories of people we're meeting is like for example, the company that dresses Broadway, but I can't talk too much about some of the discussions we're having, but no.
But this is it's a good thing.
It's a good, So we are. There's so many things are happening.
So I mean, this is a shout out, really.
Yeah.
For people in media, broadcast, film, television, and so on.
And because we're having solutions, by the way, we've not talked about solutions, have we? We've not talked about the backless bra.
Oh no.
We're not talking about the nipple covers that are coming through. We're not.
What's the solution?
Oh,
okay. Solutions.
See. A bra is not just a bra. You see, now I'm going to have to say this. All the men that I know who are listening will roll their eyes. For you as men, you're thinking underwear or lingerie are either how does it come off or what do I have to press to make it come off? We see it as it's a fin. When you first see us,
so when you first see us, when you first see us,
exactly. So you're just seeing the packaging. You don't know the trauma that we have to go through to decide whether we're wearing a strapless dress, or whether it's strapless, backless, whether it has skinny straps. And if God help you, you are in the big boob department like me. The straps that come in bras my size used to come from hideous.com. I have never seen fins
this. They cut into your skin.
Aside from cutting into your skin, they're just ugly. And I won't name people with two named initials that basically used to do some that you're like, why? Why do you hate big boobed women? So you have to understand that for us, a bra is not a bra. It's basically, it's our equivalent to Superman's cape. It makes or breaks an outfit. And when you talk about wardrobe malfunction, your underwear is the place to start because you don't want to be in that situation where something's malfunctioning.
Exactly. So solutions, for example, we have a bra that just sticks on the side. So if you
excuse me while I picture that. Go.
It just sticks on the side.
That's super. Absolutely brilliant. Okay, we can move into the financial aspects.
Okay, but we have a question. We actually have a live person to ask a question. So we have Norman who goes, where do you like to see your line going, and would you branch out towards outerwear?
Yes, I see the brand going into like shapewear, everything about being a woman, being you or them, and I see us going to men's as well.
Okay.
They call them wife beaters. Still.
Yeah,
but they're white. Have you not noticed? You see it all on the shirts. What? Why do we need to see white beaters on the shirts?
I don't know. Tell me that you have.
I don't like it.
No, I'm not a fan of white beaters anyway.
This I have to tell you. This is the first time I have heard that expression. I obviously move around with different kind of guys. But you're talking about the vest.
Yes.
Kind of,
Norman.
String vest.
Yes, yeah. Norman, keep an eye out, please.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So
Norman, thank you for the question.
Exactly.
And if there are any more out there,
he would not have known.
Do put them out. Okay. So getting on to the finance issue. Obviously, one of the biggest hurdles. I mean, you've got all the dramas in life, but the nuts and bolts of a business is
It's
that
money.
you need money to get going. Now, what access did you have to money, and how did you find the money?
I'll start very quickly. 6-7 years ago, the banks told me no. But remember, it was that 2008, 2000, everything was crashing.
Yes,
Okay.
yes,
Around everyone's ears
yes,
anyway.
yes.
So, and I had investors who then were they moved the business into a particular point. They were trying to change what my vision was, and that didn't work out. Then my mom got sick. I wasn't around. So I don't think I've ever said this to anyone ever. People keep asking me about where I got the money from to start, and one of the houses my dad left me, I sold.
Okay.
That's it. That's it. I sold it.
Yeah, that's it.
I sold it, and my dad has been dead.
That says a lot.
He's been dead for 30, 80 years,
Sure.
and that was something I didn't want to do.
Right. The connections.
And I did.
But it's a mark of your commitment.
Yeah.
Because you believed in what you were about to do.
And I spoke to lots of people who knew him.
Sure.
And he would have been happy I did it.
He'd have approved. Tell me, I mean, there are all these startup funds and so on and so forth running in Britain, in the United Kingdom. How are they effective? Do they work for people?
They've not worked for me. And
do you know anybody they've worked for?
No, I've not known anyone they've worked for.
Why do you think that is?
Is because I think the amount they offer sometimes, the people who start their businesses sometimes underestimate what they need.
Mm-hmm.
So they think someone offering £20,000. At the time,
Sounds like a lot.
when you're struggling,
exactly.
when you're really struggling, £20,000
It does sound like a lot.
It sounds like a lot, and it takes you nowhere. And then they offer business help, business advice. For me, as someone,
evaluate the business.
Yes, evaluate what you. But I don't know. I was coming from a point where I understood business. I understood plans. I understood that. So the level I was coming in, there was nothing for me.
Right.
At the level I was coming in.
What you really
I didn't want to. I did not want someone to help me write a business plan.
Right.
I'd written business plans for millions before.
Right.
Within my job. So there's this gap. And people think as soon as you're an entrepreneur, as soon as you're starting a business, automatically people start offering you help. And people were telling me, oh, make sure you have business cards. I'm like, is that your advice to me? I'm not saying I'm better than anyone else. I'm not. But there's a level that people really don't. There's a level of us that we do know what we're doing to a certain level.
Yeah.
And there's nothing out there in the UK.
Okay. Now, if you could wave a magic wand, if, for example, the Chancellor of the Exchequer invite you onto the government's think tank to put together something that would be of help to people like you, what would it be? What kind of help could you expect? What would really work? What would set people of colour and their businesses up and flying?
We need someone like me. Needed someone to listen to give me an hour mentoring, not mentoring, an hour to hear me before they start mentoring me.
Right.
To hear me, to hear where I was at, because
this is
they don't.
This is so subtle.
Yeah.
And it needs to be clearly articulated.
They
the
don't.
Point is they don't know who you are.
Don't know.
They actually don't understand the situation.
So the offers are so
way off the mark.
Inappropriate because you've not heard me.
Right. Okay.
So an hour of hearing me would have been the biggest thing. Ideal. Then just put in this package. It's packages. People get money for putting packages out, I think.
Of course.
And this package sent at me. I wanted an hour of you hearing me, of you listening to what my thing is, listen, what I want to go.
And of course, a lot of people of color are totally invisible and unheard.
Yeah, you
and
know what
sensitive
our strapline is,
within
being
each
you,
other.
right?
Yeah.
Visible, possible you. Because I felt I became invisible when I was 16 when I moved to the UK. I suddenly became invisible.
Over and over, we hear the same thing.
Okay,
So
you know
many
what?
people
I'm
are
gonna
saying
have.
this.
You know, I'm gonna pause you here, and I'm gonna say something. I still want to know exactly how your husband described your size in store. But before you do, I think we're gonna have two so loud moments today. We're gonna have two. We're gonna have ours, and we're gonna have yours.
Okay.
So I think I'm gonna do the so loud
You
moment
go
for
ahead.
this
You
week.
get it. I did it last week.
My so loud moment for this week is you. Is the Being
Oh.
You brand, the owner, creator, the visionary behind it. Woman, the words that people have been tweeting about you in the last hour is fascinating, amazing, or inspiring. You have experienced what will break most people, and you're not just standing, you're
See,
thriving.
but I got to tell you, here's the thing. People who have privilege are usually become very weak because they're protected against all of the stuff. A lot of the people with the privileges that they have, confronting a quarter of what of what you have been through, would frankly have given up.
Well, yes, and I don't even think it's that. It's not even just about people of privilege or people. This is really about anybody.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here listening. I'm thinking, in
Yeah.
my shoes, I'm not sure
Yeah.
I would, and how I
No,
would.
the importance of privilege. Privilege is very important because some people take things for granted. People take things very much for granted. And one of the functions of privilege is that people take what is happening to them for granted. They expect to wake up and for the waves to part before their waves.
Mm.
Now, the significant difference between people of color and others is this thing called white privilege. And so, what I take out of what you're saying is that actually the amount of strength which already exists, if it's harnessed, if it's listened to, translates into spectacular success, almost as a matter of course. You're trembling.
It doesn't have to be listened to. We just have to use it. We just have to transcend it, and we have so much strength
It's amazing.
that
It's
we
extraordinary.
have so much strength.
What's your so loud moment?
My
Because the clock's
my moment is being me, being black, being a black woman, and but being here with you, and I'm talking to people that just repeating what I say in my life all the time, every day, and I teach my young family, friends, whatever. But my thing for this week is, as black women, as blacks, let us understand that what's going on is an opportunity for us.
Say that to the camera.
Yes.
What we need, this is an opportunity for us. Don't get bogged down by Brexit or Trump if we don't take this moment, I don't see another moment. I don't see it.
You're absolutely correct.
Exactly.
On
that's my
that, I think we can round off and say that
Exactly.
we totally agree.
And by the way, quickly, my husband went and said, she's that size. Yes.
Can I tell you? You guys laugh, but I think he's done the job.
She's that size.
There they go. They're not giving us credit for creativity here.
You know, he goes into the store and goes,
He puts his hand out.
Yeah. Hand cups up.
Yes.
So you're just
the cup was his hand.
Yeah, you're grab size.
How I felt.
Yeah.
That is
Okay.
That was it. That's what he did.
Okay.
That's what he did.
Okay, you know what? We have to get you back on the show, or ideally come out to your next event and everything and interview you again, because already. We're at an hour stage, and I don't believe how we got to an hour. We've not even gotten through half of the questions we wanted to get through with you. You know, you're fascinating, you're endearing, you're charming, but the fact is that you're not just speaking for one type of woman of color, you're speaking for all shades of us. And I think every woman, every shade, brown, and going all the way to the palest of pales of the box of this world, we salute you and we thank you for being on the show.
I've got to tell you, I mean, there's two things I'm taking from from this program. One is the idea that people need to listen, and secondly, people need to speak to their truth, their truth. And actually, once that happens, this is the most fantastic opportunity. I think.
Yeah, I believe
well
that.
done.
Thank
Congratulations.
you. Thank you for having me. It's
I
a
am
pleasure.
so proud of you.
Thank you.
Good to see you.
Okay, this has just been unbelievable. So thank you for listening live. Thank you for the questions coming in. Thank you for your tweets. If you want to connect with this incredible woman, go to www.beingu.me. She's on Instagram. She's on Facebook. Are you on Facebook as well?
Facebook.
Yeah, you're on
Twitter.
Facebook and
We'll
Twitter.
connect on Facebook.
Yep, connect with us on Twitter and Facebook as well. So at Tate Kofi at Instagram and Twitter. Myself, Lily Nabogo, on Twitter and Instagram. And if not, just follow the show at Shine Out Loud.
It's going to get better and bigger all the time. So stay with us and let's keep connected.
Exactly.
Thanks
Join
for
us.
joining us.
Join us for next week. It's been incredible having you.
You've been listening to the Shine Out Loud show. If you want to connect with us or let us know what you thought of today's show, be sure to follow us on Twitter at Shine Out Show.